Yeah, I think we're okay. Alright, so, spoiler-free. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't really much to spoil in this game, including, well, some of the mechanics were explained pretty early or were in the manual or things like that, so there wasn't really much to spoil. No one spoiled the plot, which is okay with me. Music rating. I liked a lot of the music in the game. I was a little disappointed with where they decided to use tracks. I felt like some of the battle themes were really, really good, and then for the boss themes, they kind of just used these mediocre ones that were okay at best. But the tracks were fun. The areas were different. It was kind of atmospheric as well. Pretty solid for a GameCube game, and for a Pokemon game. They always tend to have pretty good music. The song on YouTube did not spoil the final boss, Ruben. I was already fighting the final boss. It also had a picture of him. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and give the music an 8. For a Pokemon game, it was really good. Again, I kind of wish they switched where they use some stuff, but it doesn't take away from the music being good. Graphics, I haven't played a whole lot of GameCube games. The only one that I think I played for this list so far, or no, I've played a few actually. Baten Kaitos, Skies of Arcadia I played on here, or on the GameCube as well. And it was up to par with them, but there wasn't a whole lot going on with this game. The game was pretty short overall. The different areas and things like that, there wasn't a whole lot of going on. There wasn't a lot of, like, paying attention to textures and things like that. A lot of it probably went into the Pokemon battles themselves, so I don't really think, like, the graphics were the high end or what they were really going for with this game. So I'm going to go ahead and give those a 7. They were a little bit worse than some of the games that we played prior, but not bad. Story rating. Okay, so I mean, there was Shadow Pokemon, and we were stealing Shadow Pokemon from people, and there was people making Shadow Pokemon, but let's be honest, there wasn't a whole lot going on. The normal Pokemon games definitely have a lot more story, in my opinion, than what this one did. But it just had a simplistic story. Shadow Pokemon, people were doing things to Pokemon they should not have been. We were able to snatch those Pokemon. And we just kind of were going after like a Team Rocket clone the entire time. That's really all there was to it. Not a whole lot else. So I'm going to go ahead and say that the story was probably the weakest point for me. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 6. On mechanics, Pokemon mechanics, they're solid, type weaknesses and things like that. The additional shadow mechanic in this game was interesting. But I didn't really like it that much. I liked the concept of it. I did not like what I had to do to get the Shadow Pokemon to be a normal Pokemon. It made me just want to focus on the Pokemon that I could actually get experience and new abilities from, because those were more useful to me than having a Pokemon that would occasionally not listen to me or only do one attack. If it was quicker to maybe purify the Pokemon, and maybe again it's because I was using legendary Pokemon, if it was a bit quicker, it would have been more fun to me. I would have definitely explored it a little bit more. To add to that, though, double battles are a lot of fun. Again, why I wanted to explore the mechanics of some of the other Pokemon and see what moves and stuff that they got, but it just took way too long for the purifying mechanic. I got the items to get Celebi. I don't know where I was supposed to do it at to get them, but I got 2 of them, and I could have caught him, and I definitely would have used the Master Ball on him, but that didn't end up working either. But yeah, the mechanics were solid. Pokemon double battles, and the Shadow Pokemon thing kind of took away from it a little bit for me. I liked that they incorporated the story into the battle system. I just did not like how they went about doing it, exactly. If I were to spend more time with it and focus on like getting all the Pokemon up and things like that, it probably would have been more fun. But without doing that, I think that the Shadow Pokemon kind of made it lack a little bit, or made battles a little bit more frustrating than they needed to be. I also like to catch a whole bunch of variety of Pokemon, and there was only certain ones that I could capture, so I don't know how I feel about that aspect either. But it wasn't a full-blown Pokemon game, so that's okay. I'm not going to try and treat it like it was one. It was its own separate entity. So I'm going to go ahead and say that the mechanics were really, really strong. I enjoyed the double battles. I love double battles. I always have. But the Shadow Pokemon thing definitely took away from me, so I'm going to go ahead and give it an 8. Grinding rating. I didn't really grind. I think you were able to skip a lot of different battles, too. I feel like maybe a little bit of grinding would have helped me. But I don't know. I don't really feel like you needed to. You would absolutely have to grind if you wanted to experience some of the other Pokemon and what abilities and stuff like that they have. But for beating the game, not necessarily. So I'm going to say that it's not going to get that bad of a grinding rating based on just the playthrough of it. But if you want to enjoy the game more and fully, you're definitely going to have to grind some to purify your Pokemon, your Shadow Pokemon. Unless there was a quicker way of doing it than what I was doing that I'm unaware of, that was not quite intuitive or expressed to you, you were definitely going to have to grind to get those Pokemon up there. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a 6 because of that. The battles also were really time-consuming overall. They really were just kind of, I don't know, for seeing the same attack animations over and over and over again and rotating around the screen and things like that, after a while the battles just got less epic and just time-consuming. So I wish they were a little bit quicker. Maybe if the moves were a tiny bit quicker, but maybe if they were, they just would have looked really awkward and things like that. So they probably did what was best for the game. I just kind of wish they were a little quicker to sit through and things like that. Especially when you had to redo some battles and fight the same Pokemon over and over again. So, overall rating, it's about, I'm going to say that I'm going to go ahead and give it a 7. I was between like 6.8, 7.2 or so in my mind, maybe reaching 7.5 territory. But I would say that I love the concept of this game. I really do. What they tried to do with the Shadow Pokemon, doing the double battle system and everything else, going over this world and experiencing it the way that we did, I loved so many aspects of it. I just kind of feel like a lot of the stuff could have been done better, and maybe the other one that came out for GameCube might have fixed some of those things or made it better. I'm not sure. I kind of wish the game was a little bit longer too. I expected it to be. I wanted more areas to explore. I wanted more Pokemon to get. I wanted harder battles because some of those battles were pretty difficult. They were mostly type weakness battles though. But it was a solid Pokemon game. I just wanted a little bit more from it. It kind of teased me a little bit with being unorthodox and not like the normal Pokemon games that I'm used to, and then I don't feel like it completely executed from there. It had a little of gimmicks that weren't from the normal Pokemon games, but didn't really go further from there. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a 7. And let's see what you guys rated it. Give me a little bit of time to do the math. Alright, let's see how many votes we got here. We got 15. Let me get my handy-dandy calculator out here. 42. Plus 30. Plus 16. Plus 10. And thanks again, guys, for taking the time to vote on that. I really appreciate it. I always like to kind of gauge what you guys think of the game as well. Looks like you guys gave it about a 6.53, if I did the math correctly. So, yeah. Will I replay this game? Probably not. I wouldn't mind a newer version, though. Like I said, they did a lot of interesting things in the game that I was curious of, so yeah. I might play a new one. But not so much this one again. Alright, so today is the 4th of February. And it took us 14 hours, 59 minutes, and 56 seconds to beat this game. Oops. Why'd you go all the way over there? Alright, now you guys know what time it is. It is raffle time. All you have to do is type in the word raffle. You'll be entered in a chance to pick the next game that I play. You can go ahead and take a look at the list as well to make your pick. Again, for those of you that are new here, all you have to do is type in the word raffle. That's it. Even if you normally are here and you lurk and stuff like that, that's fine. Doesn't matter. You don't have to be completely active in chat all the time, but I highly recommend at the very least taking a shot to pick the next game that I play. It's simple. You just type the word in. We have a little raffle. Everyone has an equal shot at winning, and then whoever wins, you get to look at my list and pick the next game. Very simple. Oh man, battle music. The battle music in this game was definitely its strong point. A lot of it was really good. Ba-ba-na-na. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Ba-ba-ba-ba. Alright, I try my best to make sure that everyone that's here that typed the word does get entered. And I'll give you guys a couple minutes. Again, one more time, if you guys are new here, it is my goal to play every JRPG. At the end of every JRPG that I beat, there is a review of the game and then a raffle. If you win the raffle, you get to pick the next game that I play. Of these 700 some odd games that are on that list, you get to pick the next one if it has not already been played and it is not Earthbound. Everything else is up for grabs. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if I just played a Pokemon game or I just played a Tails game. You can pick another Tails game. Just not the same game. I'll give you guys another minute or two. Again, don't forget Nightbot is entered as well. If Nightbot has the chance of winning, I will pick 5 games from the list. I will put them on a list for you guys, and then you guys can vote which one you want out of those 5. Very unlikely that Nightbot wins, but if that happens, you all get a say in what game I play next. Not just one person. We beat 5 games in February? Really? Oh no, you mean this year. Yeah, we beat 5 games this year. That's not too many, though. In the grand scheme of things of how many games there are, that's not a whole lot of games. Alright guys, I really do appreciate everyone sticking around. I think you guys have waited long enough. You dealt with all the hiccups and stuff like that we had throughout the emulator issues, so on and so forth. Yeah, let's go ahead and roll it. Good luck, everyone. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, John! Congrats! Not you re-roll? Not re-rolling. Alright, man, go ahead and let me know if you're still there. Yeah, you win! Congratulations! Aha! Your alt account, of course. Go ahead and take your time. You got about 15 minutes to look at the list, unless you already have something in mind. If not, take your time. I know you're here. Just keep messaging and stuff like that, letting me know. Pikachu! Not Pikachu, Bigachu. Manakaima, Alchemist of Alrevis. Okay. I do own that one, I believe. Never heard of it? I've never played it. Alright. Okay, well, definitely my first time played. Is there multiple versions of that game that I should look into, by chance? Good soundtrack, that's all you know. Okay, well, that's always something to look forward to. You guys know that I like a good JRPG soundtrack. There's PSP, but it's worse in every way. Okay, so PS2 is the way to go, and PS2 is the version I believe I own. I'll double check on that. We'll already have our PS3 hooked up for Tales of Abyss anyway. Alright guys, so that means that Tales of Abyss will be started on the next stream, which will more than likely be tomorrow. And then after we beat that, however long that takes, it'll be Manakaima. Chimia? Chima? Chemia? I don't know how to say it. Anyway, let's go ahead and find somebody to host you guys with. Thank you so much for spending this weekend with me, playing some Pokemans. It's been fun. Thank you for all the follows. Thank you for all the subscriptions, guys. You guys are awesome. And I know you're here for JRPGs, so let me try and send you in that general direction if I can. Sorry. Okay, yeah, you know what? I don't get to host BGG very often, so I'm gonna go ahead and host him. He is doing some Final Fantasy 13 Lightning Returns, or just Final Fantasy Lightning Returns, so, yeah. But we're going to raid, because we don't get to do that very often. But before that, if you guys don't know already, we do have a Discord up and running. You guys can talk about spoilers of the current game that I'm playing. You can give me suggestions to add to the list that might not already be there. And just in general, we talk and have a lot of fun. So if you're interested in doing that, highly recommend stopping by. But, guys, we got to have fun. Let's spam. Yeah, you know what? Or do we want to do something like... We could do like Pikachu or something like that. Already, yeah. See, I definitely want to do Pikachu just because it's funny, and for whatever reason, I don't know if they messed up with that, but that was the sound that they made for Pikachu. So let's just go ahead and go Pikachu. Yeah, there you go. Alright, whatever you want, just as long as it has Pikachu in it, guys. Okay, and we're gonna host BGG. We're gonna raid them rather. And what perfect music to be playing to start this raid. Alright guys, all you're going to have to do is type in whatever message you want to join in the raid, and you guys will get sent over there. So, I want to see all the spam. All that spam you've been holding in all day, guys, I want to see it. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Spam it! Spam his chat! Spam him into oblivion. I don't want him to be able to read anything anyone else is saying when we get in there.